Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm Adria Tantillo from the Houston-Galveston Area Council, and we're all excited to be here in Friendswood today. Especially the people who are already in Friendswood. You're always excited to be in Friendswood, right? And we're going to get started in just a minute, but I have a little bit of housekeeping. My colleagues Amanda and Jose are outside. If you didn't check in when you first came in, we appreciate it if you would pick up an agenda and after-event survey. If you need restrooms, they're just out that door and around to the left, up behind us. Breakfast, of course, is out there. I've been asked to please not mess up the brand new carpet in here. I don't know the pastries there might be from. But now I'd like to introduce the Friendswood Mayor, Mike Foreman, to officially welcome us to today's event. Mike Foreman?
Thanks, Andrea. Appreciate it. How we sounding, Glenda? Is this working? Thumbs up. All right. Well, welcome to Friendswood. I am Mayor Mike Foreman, and I got to tell you, I love being the mayor of Friendswood. So all the things that you're going to hear about what are going on here are some of the reasons I love this place. And I was talking to Shelley a little bit ago about how I ended up here. I ended up here in 1998 when I got selected into the NASA astronaut program. And that was a great career. That's what I always wanted to do. And got here, worked for NASA for 17 years, retired, went to work for my wife, by the way. Lori Foreman is in the room, the first lady of Friendswood right there. Yes, 47 years she's been putting up with me, but yeah, a long time. That deserves another applause. Yes. So I left NASA, and I actually went to work for my wife. When I left NASA, she recruited me away from NASA. I was having a good time there, but I was done flying in space. I didn't have any more missions coming up, so I went to work for her in a construction project management firm, and that was a lot of fun. Working with your wife, some guys would probably say, oh, but I loved it. You know, it was great. And she wasn't too hard on me either. She didn't work me too hard. So I started getting more involved in things going on in Friendswood. You know, before 2015, my involvement with the city is I paid my water bill, I expected my trash to get picked up. And that, you know, I couldn't have told you who the mayor was, you know, and I tell people all the time, you can live a long and happy life in Friendswood without ever knowing who the mayor is. Because, you know, we got a great staff, things go well here. So I got involved early on when a group called Friends of Downtown Friendswood Association started up. Brett's going to tell us about that. And got involved with them. And one of the first things that we decided in that group was, you know, our downtown at that time didn't look so good. We need to go to city council and say, hey, why don't you guys clean up some of these buildings in town, you know, that have been here for ages, you know. And I remember Mayor Kevin Holland before me, he said, well, that's a good point. We need to think about that, but we just don't have the money for that right now. Well, that kind of irked me a little bit. I mean, I thought, wait a minute. You know, we should be able to find money for this kind of stuff, make our downtown look better. It looks great today, by the way, and you are in downtown. For people not from Friendswood, this is downtown. This stretch of road here for about a mile, you know, is our downtown. So welcome to Friendswood. But I was a little irked by that, and I ran for city council in 2016, and I got on city council, and I started, you know, making my inputs known, and we started steering that ship, you know. And we have 3-year terms here. So I was 2 years into my 3-year term in 2018. We were starting to make progress downtown. It was looking better. And Mayor Kevin Holland, the guy that had told me no, you know, in 2016, and I had sat next to for 2 years, learning under his wing how to be the mayor, he said, I'm not going to run again. Time for you to run for mayor. So I ran for mayor in 2018, and I've been reelected. I've been elected mayor 3 times now. I'm in my last term. We have term limits here. So really, somebody this morning, I was speaking at a leadership thing this morning, and they said, how did you get into politics? And I said, well, I don't really call it politics. I call it public service. You know, if they don't pay you, you're really not really a politician, are you? I mean, if you're just doing it as volunteer, I think we should be called public servants. So anyway, I got into it that way, and I love serving this community, and I'll be done next year when my term limit finishes me up, and I'll continue to volunteer. I'll continue to work with Brett, all these fine people doing all the good work here in Friendswood, because I'm not just going to go to the house and sit on the couch and watch TV all day. I got some more energy left to do. So anyway, that's enough about me and how I ended up here. So next, I want to introduce Sally Branson. Sally Branson was on that group when we started off together. That's how I met Sally Branson. What's that now? That's at least 10 years ago now. 10 years. And she was in that group also. And I ran for city council, and the next year she ran for city council. So she's been on city council for 9 years. You know, I had 1 year ahead of her. So I always like to tell all these people, I'm the senior person on city council time-wise. You know, intelligence-wise, no. Age-wise, no. Sorry, John, in the back. I see you back there. Mayor Pro Tem's right back there. In case I keel over, he's going to jump up here real quick. But anyway, Sally Branson, I've known her a long time, and we are on the same page. And, you know, things that our vision for Friendswood is identical. And so it's been a pleasure to work with her on city council these past 9 years, serve with her. So she is a native, almost Friendswoodian, graduated from high school here. I think if you graduate from high school here, you can call yourself a native.
I like that.
What do you think? So,
like
Sally Branson, everybody.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I got to tell y'all, and I've heard Mayor Mike say this times, he really means it. He loves being the mayor of Friendswood. If you didn't pick that up from his comments. So let's give him another round of applause. I'm going to very quickly highlight Friendswood, but I want to start with, oh, do I need to click that? Sorry, Stephen. I'm technically challenged. Thank you, dear. We had an official city historian. She passed away a few years back, but she wrote the history of Friendswood. We were founded in 1895. She wrote this book in 1995 for our centennial celebration. And I really wanted to kick off with exactly what's on that chart. Friendswood, that name was carefully thought out. And if you're not familiar with Quakers, a name that is synonymous with Quaker is Friends. And we are the only colony in Texas that was settled by Quakers and is still here today. There was one out in West Texas, Estacado, and eventually that one did not make it. I think it's because they didn't have any water. But they eventually came here to Friendswood. But Friendswood is the only city, colony in town, or excuse me, in Texas that survived. And on July 16, 1895, they went to Galveston County and said the name of our town would be Friends. But I'm going to tell y'all where the wood part came from. They got here to town. We have 4 creeks here in town: Mary, Chigger, Cowards, and Clear Creek. Many of you have Clear Creek running through your communities. All those creeks were wooded, so they saw wood. So that is actually where our name came from, Friendswood. So we're very proud of that. When I got here in 1974, we had around 5,000 people. Larry Taylor beat me here. We're a very small town. We have grown. At the time this book was written, at our centennial, we were 25,000. Today, we're over 42,000. So we're growing. But the reason we grew was because of the reason Mike got to town. In the late 60s and 70s, NASA came in over here at Johnson Space Center, and those families started moving in. At that time, I like to believe that Friendswood was a well-kept secret. But the longer I go back to class reunions thing, Joe Matring and I just had a undisclosed year reunion from high school. Fellow council member, shh, Larry. Many of our classmates, their parents were here and working out at NASA. So it's kind of exciting. But anyway, I digress. Friendswood, part of the reason why you don't see, and Mike alluded to this, you don't see a traditional Texas square. Most of our Texas towns are built around a town square. We didn't have a railroad here. We weren't on the cattle drive, if you will. We were established by the Quakers, and the 2 most important things to the Quakers were their religion and their school, teaching their children education. And if you'll see, there's a mural here in town on the side of the Sherwin-Williams building. It says, faith, family, and education. Priorities for the Quakers. And we still adhere to that today. And even though a lot of us that are still here weren't raised Quaker, it's in our DNA. If you grew up here, you just have that in your DNA. And Thank goodness the Quakers were very warm and welcoming, because most of us in this room are the ones who grew up here in Friendswood. We probably wouldn't have been here because we didn't start out as Quakers, but they were very warm and welcoming. As a matter of fact, they donated the land that the Baptist church is sitting on. And so that was the second church here in town. I have a whole talk on churches here in Friendswood, but I won't go to that one. But I did want to mention to you that we were not formed as a Texas square, if you will. The main industry in Friendswood was figs. Up through even as late as the late 50s, we still had fig factories on, and people talked about when they drove through Friendswood or rode their horse through Friendswood, it smelled sweet, and that was the figs cooking, so that was kind of exciting. So I need to wrap up my time, but I want to encourage you all. We have old building envy in Friendswood. All we ever had were little homes up and down Friendswood Drive. Even when I, like I said, got here in the 70s, there were no buildings because we never had a formal downtown. So Joyce Baker, in the course of, and by the way, we do have these books available if you'd like one. She, in doing her research for the book, she came up with, it's called Quaker Settlement Sites. And they're all throughout the downtown area, and it's actually walkable. There is one that is not up yet. It's the one next to the library. That building is under construction. That marker will be up shortly. But through that, this is what we did. She had pictures of the old homes. So we have pictures of what was there originally. And if you've got time, or if you want to come back to Friendswood, it's a fun little stroll through downtown Friendswood, and you can see all of our historical sites, because none of those structures are here any longer. They did not survive the 100+ years since our little town started. But I would encourage you to come and check that out. And I want to welcome you to Friendswood. And I'd also like to do a shout out to our Assistant City Manager, Letty Brish. If y'all, when you see her, tell her how lovely everything looks. She made these floral arrangements herself. And she was up here, I have on good authority, till pretty late last night. So if you see Letty, tell her how much you appreciate how lovely everything looks today. So I'm going to introduce a very good friend of mine, and Mayor alluded to this as well. He came to us and said, hey, we need to do something about our downtown. And a lot of people go, huh, what? Where's your downtown? Exactly, that was the point. So I'd like to introduce my friend, Brett Banfield. He's going to talk to you about Friendswood Downtown.
Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to Town Friendswood. Just curious, we held this event 8 years ago at the Friendswood Library. By chance, anyone was at that event 8 years ago? One? Well, two? Well, a lot has changed in the last 8 years. We've come a long ways, but got a long ways to go. A little bit about myself. I'm born and raised here. Lived in Friendswood my entire life. I've been in real estate development, family business. And my father and I and other family members, we really got involved in economic development for many, many years. And then as they stated before, we kicked off the Downtown Association in 2015. I got a lot of information I'm going to share with you this morning. I'm going to go pretty fast through the slides, so if you have any questions, meet me afterwards, I'll answer any questions. But I'm only going to talk about Downtown Association. I'm going to go back a little bit further than that. The very first downtown plan was in 1969. First attempt to get revitalize our downtown area. And a little sidebar here, my father led the effort on this at the ripe old age of 30. He said we need to get our downtown going. So the city went out and hired a great architect from Rice University. He's a well-renowned architect, and he did a great plan. And in his plan, he lists everything we're trying to do today. He just tried to bear the power lines. That's going to be a doozy. I'm not sure we're going to be able to do that one. But he had talked about wayfinding signage, landscaping, sidewalks, standardizing all the lights. So 57 years ago, they were talking about that. It was a good plan, but unfortunately, it didn't have community support. And you don't have community support, you don't have political will. And if you don't have political will, you're not getting public funding to do anything in that plan. So this plan went up on the shelf, and it's out there for years. However, downtown Friendswood kind of continued to grow on its own, organically, naturally. In the early 70s, some mom and pop shops started popping up. You started getting some eateries, and on its own, we were starting to get into a little downtown. And it's on a good trajectory going up, and then it flattened out. In the 80s, it started going back down. Can anyone guess what happened in the 80s? What caused downtown to go in the wrong direction? Recession. Huh? Good. Baybrook Mall. A story that's been played out across our country many times. A big mall comes in, it's the new shiny thing, and they built on the freeway. That's where Friendswood started to go shop and eat, and it just sucked the life out of our downtown. Downtown, it started slowly going down each year. More and more businesses started closing. And by 2000, lenders and investors began to withdraw from the region. But here's the thing, no one here realized that. I didn't realize that. It was such a slow, gradual decline, we all kind of got used to how our downtown looked. We didn't know how bad it got. Here's a personal story I want to share with you, and this is why my family got really involved. It opened our eyes. We are, like I said, we're in real estate development. We own this property, Huntington Apartments. You probably passed it on its way here. We built this in 1991, and we were refinancing the property in 2000. And we were putting a $3 million loan on it, and that was a big loan back then, still a big number. We were refinancing with MetLife Insurance Company out of New York, and the loan was going great. We had one more box to check, and that box to check was a bigwig from New York, from MetLife, had to fly down here and put his own eyes on the deal before he would sign off on it. This gentleman didn't know anything about Friendswood, so he came down here, probably came the same way many of y'all got here this morning, came down 2051, made that left turn on Friendswood Drive, drove that just 0.8 of a mile to this property where my dad and I were waiting for him. We were going to knock his socks off, do the grand tour, and he got out of the car, and he was visibly upset. And he goes, "Gentlemen, I hate to tell you this, but the loan is dead. Killing it right now." So what happened? What's going on? He goes, "I just drove through what I think is your downtown area or your Main Street area, wherever you want to call what I drove through." He goes, "I don't do loans in low-income cities. I'm killing it right now." So that was his first impression of Friendswood, Texas, that we were a low-income city. He goes, "Loan's dead." My dad was very quick thinking. He goes, "Time out, get in the car, and I'm going to drive you around and show you the rest of Friendswood." Well, to speed this story up, he loved the rest of Friendswood, loved it. He goes, "This is a great community." He goes, "I'm sorry you made a snap judgment about your city." So he green-lighted the loan. Before he went back to the airport, he goes, "I'm sorry I made a snap judgment about your city. So glad to do this loan in Friendswood, Texas. This is a wonderful community. Because I'll tell you one damn thing, your downtown does not represent your city very well. It almost costs you your loan. Your downtown," excuse me, he said, "looks like crap." That was an eye-opening moment for my dad and I. So go back real quick. So we started on another process, kind of getting that story out. So what did this New Yorker see? Well, I'll tell you what he didn't see. He didn't see the things that Sally and Mike just said. Our history, our heritage. He didn't see our Quaker foundation. He didn't see our vibrancy, our volunteer spirit. He didn't see our great schools. He didn't see any of that. He didn't see full parking lots. He didn't see restaurant shops. He saw none of that. So what did he see? He saw an abandoned gas station right in our downtown area, been boarded up for years. Saw another abandoned building sitting there empty. Saw an old auto parts store where this gentleman used to put his antiques on the curb, selling his junk on the side of the street. Saw another boarded up gas station. Saw broken up sidewalks or no sidewalks at all. We had a pawn shop right in the heart of our city, right across from Quaker Church. The heart of our city, we used to have a pawn shop there. That's why he said, "No, I'm not doing a loan." But once we saw him the rest of Friendswood, he felt much better. Well, we shared the story many times, and that kicked off another effort in 2003 to get another downtown plan for Friendswood. And once again, the city went out and hired, at this time, a world-renowned architectural firm, Page Southern Page. It was a great plan. This plan won national awards in the architectural industry. But just like the 1969 plan, the community didn't support it. And if the community's not supported, the council member's not going to support it. Then you're not going to have political will, you're not going to have any money, and the plan is dead. So this plan went up on the shelf, not next to the 1969 plan. Friendswood kind of continued on, going on pretty well. Then FDFA came on the scene in 2015. At that time, economic developer reached out to me and said, here's a list of people to call, and let's try one more time to try to get the downtown set up. So I reached out to Sally, and then Dr. Rebecca Hilberg was on that list, a lot of other people. So we met several times, and then we decided to form an association. But we decided we're going to do two things fundamentally different this time than previous efforts. This time, we were going to go out to the community and get as many people behind that, build that community support now. We didn't want to just focus on downtown owners. We wanted to focus on everyone, build that group up. So we reached out to past mayors and council members, current council members and P&Z members. We got members from Keep Friendswood Beautiful, Friendswood Fine Arts, from Farmers Market, Garden Society, non-town down business owners. We did have a few business owners on there. We got working spouses, stay-at-home spouses, Friendswood Chamber. We have on our group, we have people from the mid-20s to the mid-80s on our group. We had Friendswood Rotary, and we had Friendswood Historical Society. This is a small group that we, small sampling of who we reached out to, but we ended up with a lot of people behind this effort. First thing, here's the second thing we went out for. This was a doozy. We went out for a sales tax for downtown Friendswood. An economic development tax has been tried 4 times in Friendswood's history. It failed every time. So we said, we're not going to go out and get a new plan until we know we have public money behind it. Because there's no point in doing so. This was a battle. We went and, first we had to get it past council, passed by a 4-3 vote. Very contentious, very stressful. Then we had to go send it out to the citizens and try to get that passed. It was the most stressful thing I think we ever did, Sally.
Yes.
Yes, well, true story. I had a full head of hair before this election. I did. In May of 2016, for the first time in Friendswood history, a tax was passed by a whopping 137 votes. But we got it done. And it was such a relief for FDFA. We could wipe our hands, get out of politics, never do that again. We turned everything over to the FDDC, which Dr. Rebecca Helberg is going to share with you. That group now is in charge of taking public money, doing public improvements on public property. FDFA, we get to do the fun stuff now. Bring people in. Our idea was capturing the heart and soul of small town Texas. But Sally remembers me saying this, that we're going to swing for the fences on everything we do and bringing people to downtown Friendswood and doing groups and like that. We hit some home runs. We had 1 grand slam. We had singles and doubles too, and we struck out on a big project. But it wasn't for a lack of trying. We're going to focus on 3 main things from our group. 1, beautify downtown district through culture and public art. Educate people why it's important to have a vibrant downtown. And then organize and host events for people to come downtown Friendswood. First thing we did right out of the gate, we partnered with Friendswood Historical Society and took that ugly wall there. I don't know if y'all, people who lived here for a long time remember that. That was on Friendswood Drive. And we said we went out and raised private money and we were going to do a mural. Hope y'all saw it coming in. Look at that mural, what's in that mural. You see faith and education. You see a thing. We're going to make darn sure the next time a New Yorker drives through our town, he's going to see what Friendswood's about. That's not going to happen again. So you see faith, family, education. You see our patriotism up there. You see how our school started, our agriculture heritage. If you look on the left, there's a big space shuttle. Sorry, Mike. Think it makes
on the back.
On the back. Mike wanted that whole mural to be a space shuttle, but and a picture of him too. That's Plan B. So this is a great hit, great thing to do straight out of the box. And then we did another mural. It's on the same structure on the other side of the building. This is to commemorate Harvey. As you all know, Friendswood was devastated by Harvey, and man, people rallied. It's one of those rare times where everyone gets along in Friendswood. So we want to commemorate that and show that. Here's another art piece we did. It's in front of the Friendswood Library. It's on private land. This is a lighted piece that lights up at night, and we're getting ready to embark on a big landscape project behind it. There's construction next door that's going to be kicking off, so we're kind of delayed that. Here's a program I'm really proud of that FDF did, Heroes of Friendswood Military Banner Program. This was an idea that was brought to us by a man named Rich Sasson. And Joe, you worked on that. Helped out a lot. Rich had traveled across the country and saw this program in another city. He goes, how about y'all do it? He said, we'd love to do it. Rich was fighting pancreatic cancer at that time, and this is his legacy. He wanted to leave in Friendswood. He knew his time was short, So we worked fast on that, didn't we, Joe, to get this banner program up. Great program. The city works with us on this a lot. Public Works and Parks and Rec help us put these banners up twice a year. They go up Memorial Day and Veterans Day. And I think we're up to 60 banners now. So great program. It kind of brings that hometown feel. Educating the public. This is a doozy. I'm sure a lot of y'all sitting out there know how hard it is to educate the public. Because everything on Facebook is 100% true. Don't you know that? It's a doozy. So one thing we did, we brought in Chuck Gardner, a day tripper, gave a great speech. I'd like to bring him back. Wonderful, inspiring speaker. He just really motivates you, gets you fired up about your downtown. We do a lot of infographics on social media, always trying to educate the public why downtown revitalization is important, trying to explain the difference between all the different entities. So it's a constant battle, but it's well worth it. Hosting events is another thing we do. This is the first thing we did. That's my son from 8 years ago.
Sorry, I had to say so cute. He's so cute.
He's 18 now. I don't know if he's still cute.
He's still cute.
But we partnered again with the Friendswood Historical Society to kick this off, and it's Labor Day Ice Cream Social. Very simple. We just buy a ton of Bluebell ice cream, hire a band, and have it at one of our Historical Society buildings, and invite everyone out for free ice cream. And we're going into our 11th year, I think. Yep. So great event. And then now Friendswood Rotary Club is involved, Keep Friendswood Vito is involved, and also art students from Friendswood High School. Downtown Scarecrow Contest. This is another. This is a home run for us. We invite. It's my wife's idea. I have to give her credit. She's in the back. Where we invite the business. We start out just inviting the downtown businesses, but now it's anyone in Friendswood has a business can put up a scarecrow in downtown Friendswood that represents their business in some way. Great program. We also do a scarecrow stroll. Works out great. It's a fun event. We've been doing it, I think, 8 years now. Here's some other events we've done. Some of these were not. We kind of set them aside. We used to have a great music fest here. We did it 4 years in a row. Then COVID hit, and we decided to kind of put that on the back burner. Music festivals are so hard to do. I'd like to bring it back, but it'd be good if we had a partner. Looking at Stephen Ray over there, if the city wants to get involved. Just need to check, Mayor Mike. We brought in the Clydesdale horses one time. That was great. We had the Mardi Paws with the Mardi Gras Day dog parade. We used to have a drink drive some downtowners. We're going to rebrand that, bring that back. That's just kind of a networking event to get people to come to the downtown area. Fun thing to do. Here's an event. You know, I said we had some grand slams. This is a grand slam for us, Farm and Vine. This was an idea that Susan brought to us and her husband, Greg. Would y'all see this, McKinney?
Mount Vernon, Texas.
Mount Vernon, Texas. They had a similar event like this, where it's an outdoor event, farm to table. And Susan brought this to us. I said, I'll take it to the board and see what they say. And I came back to Susan and said, good news, bad news. Board loves it. Bad news, you're going to chair it, and you're going to be on our board now. So Susan did a great job, and it's a great event. This is our primary moneymaker for FDFA. It pays our admin cost, and it pays for all the art, the Love Friendswood art piece, and the murals. And we got another great art piece coming. I can't announce it yet, but it's going to be really cool. And it's a fun event. We just have it out in the pasture, different parts around downtown. Last weekend in October or the first weekend in November, and it raises a lot of money for us. It helps fund a lot of our public art. I'm going to wrap up. And I told you all the feel-good stuff about FDFA's done, and it's great. It's bringing people together, bringing people in our town. Boy, do we ever need it more now than bringing people together. The world we live in is getting crazier and crazier every day. So good to bring people in the downtown area. All the feel-good stuff. But you need to have some economic stats to back that up to make it worthwhile. Downtown should be an economic engine for your city. For many years, downtown Friendswood was not, but it's definitely on its way. In 2015, we had 25 vacant lots comprising almost 17 acres of land, over 700,000 square feet sitting empty. All this prime commercial real estate was generating just $21,000 a year for the city. Unbelievable. It should be generating 10 times that, much more higher than that. Well, due to the efforts of FDFA, FDEDC, things have really started to change. And I want to reiterate here, downtown realization doesn't happen because of one developer or one organization. It takes hundreds of people over many organizations. It takes city staff, city planner, P&Z, council, other organizations, other nonprofits to do it. And it's a long process. It takes about 20 years to revitalize a downtown area. We're in our 10th year, and we've come a long ways. In the last 10 years, 25 new commercial buildings have been built. 7 have been remodeled, and 5 more are under construction or on the way in the planning stages. Phenomenal growth. In the last 10 years, our tax base in downtown has grown $122 million. Bear in mind, we had Harvey and a pandemic in that 10-year. Do I need to dance? No. So our tax base has gone from $76 million to $198 million today. Next year, it will probably go past $200 million. In another 5 years, it will surpass $300 million. And when we get to that 20-year mark, we should be approaching a $500 million tax base in downtown Friendswood. Phenomenal growth. And that helps the homeowners of Friendswood, Texas. Helps them keep their property taxes in check. Great growth. 40% of building permits, COs, in the last 8 years have been issued in the downtown area. That indicates people are buying in. Investors and lenders are coming back to the region. In the last 10 years, we got 18 new restaurants or eateries that come into Friendswood. In 2015, if you wanted to come into downtown Friendswood and eat, you had 1 restaurant and 3 fast foods. Those were your options. Downtown Friendswood used to be a ghost town on nights and weekends. Now on a Friday, Saturday night, good chance you're going to wait for a table. Parking lots are full. The vibrancy is back. We have outdoor dining now. And a lot of times on Friday and Saturday, there's live music going on this. So downtown Friendswood has come a long, long ways, and we're so proud of where it's gone. But we're just halfway there, folks. We need another 10 years, and it's going to be a really true, vibrant area. Thank you for coming, and see me if you have any questions afterwards. I'd like to now introduce Dr. Rebecca Helleberg, and she's going to share with you the other half of the downtown realization, the people with the money, the checkbook. And
we have money now.
Yes. Dr. Rebecca Helleberg.
Well done. A big thanks to Brett for laying the groundwork of where we start out with FDEDC. Brett, thank you again. Well done. FDEDC, yeah, I'm not a fan of acronyms, I admit it. Took me a long time to get all those letters in the correct order. And it really stands for the Friendswood Downtown Economic Development Corporation. I like to know exactly what it stands for. I'm fortunate to be able to serve as chairman right now, and there was another board member. There he is in the back, Scott McKenzie. We are a board of 7 people, and one of the things that I'd like for you to hear from Brett and from Sally is it's not one entity. We really work hard in this town to work together, to make it a team. Everybody does their part, whatever that part can be. In a little bit, you're going to hear from one of our business owners from downtown. That's a huge part of the work that has been done. Brett and FDFA, they're a huge part. But it takes all of us working together. It has been my privilege to serve on this board since its inauguration. Yeah, it's been a wonderful experience, but very unique. I want you to get the vision, okay? When we were formed, and we're a corporation, we cannot spend money directly. All of our recommendations go to City Council, and then City Council approves anything that we would like to buy or use our money for. But within our corporation, there are 7 of us. when it started, each council person was given the opportunity, note the words I'm using, given the opportunity to choose one person to serve on this board. Okay, now let your imaginations run. 7 different, thank you, you got the picture. 7 different council people with different ideas and different goals and different structures and things, each one choosing a different person. All 7 of us were brought together as the corporation. I wouldn't say at the beginning there was a lot of commonality. And it was a really interesting experience. And really the only power we had was nominal because we had no money. For the first year, we did not collect a tax dollar due to other extenuating circumstances, which we can talk about later. So we had no money, but we continued to meet and to work through it. But one of the best things, and if you don't go out of here with one piece of advice from me today, take this one. One thing that one of our members, Ron Cox, brought to us as a board and said, I think we need to have some team building. I think we need an outside person to come in and show us our commonalities, show us what our goals are, show us where we think alike and how we do have Friendswood, the main goal, as our heart. So we did. We spent a day. When we started that day, we were 7 separate entities, okay? 7 different minds. When we left that afternoon, we saw what the potential was for this group and organization. The consultant did an amazing job getting us where we could figure out a little bit about each other, how to communicate and work together, because we did not have that commonality. We weren't chosen by a group of 3 or 4 people that said, oh yeah, this one will work. They'll work together. This one, yes. No. We all came with different mindsets almost. But since that time, which happened about, I think, 3 months after we started, it has made such a world of difference. And the reason I say such a world of difference, of those names that are up there right now, 5 of us are original members. Only 2 have rolled off, which speaks to everybody's commitment to wanting to make this happen. Now, what can we do and what can we spend our money on and where can it go? We can only spend our 1/8 cent sales tax. It's not property tax. It's sales tax that comes to us every month on this specific downtown district. There are boundaries, and we can't go beyond those boundaries to spend our money. We don't even look at it. We can't. Now, do we work together with Keep Friendswood Beautiful and Parks and Rec? Definitely. And are we looking at possible bike lanes and bike paths? Definitely. And we'll all connect together. But we have no authority to spend money on except on that one section in downtown. Starts right down here, goes to 2351, and maybe at the most a block and a half off of this street. It's not deep. So remember, we get 1/8 of a cent, 1/8 every month from the sales tax. When we got our first check of about, and correct me if I'm wrong, of about $34,000. Oh my word. It's like Christmas. We saw it, and we thought, oh, we got $34,000, what are we going to do? Well, one of the commitments that our organization made was that we were not going to go into debt We were only going to use monies that we had, or grants, or some other funding source. And Aubrey is going to use our storyboard, story map, and tell all this, but I'm going too deep, I know, aren't I? Tell me. Okay, I'm good. Anyway, so in all of that, we have worked together with the community and with our decision-making to bring more life, a different life, to the downtown organization of Friendswood. And that was our goal. We don't spend money we don't have, as I said. I want to emphasize one more thing. It's a sales tax. But one of the reasons that that's very important is that Friendswood, even though we like to think we're a little nestled community right here, we're a crossroads. I like the shake of your head, thank you. Anyway, Pearland, Clay, Alvin, many people go through Friendswood, and they spend their money. So our organization, FDEDC, uses money that comes not only from Friendswood people that are buying and selling here, but also from people that come through. It's not property tax money. So we feel very blessed that now we're hitting almost $80,000 a month. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I agree. When we first saw that one, Scott can agree, we all just went, oh my word. And like I said, we don't go into debt. The next big project that we're doing, and I don't want to point out our flaws, but we have been working to get these lines, Comcast, AT&T wires down since 75 maybe? A long time. So that is our next project. We have money in the bank to do it. We just signed a contract with Comcast, and we're going to start moving forward. Thank you. Yeah, that's a good deal. It's a good deal. Well, I have taken some of Aubrey's thunder, and I appreciate that you let me, because you didn't say, sit down, Rebecca. And they've already learned you don't give me a microphone for too long. But Aubrey Harbin, who sits in all of our meetings, as does Stephen Ray, the deputy city manager. They're our liaisons to the city. And Aubrey has the role of Director of Community Development, which is what we're trying to do, and planning. So she's the perfect person to next present the next part of this, showing our story map. Thank you, I always call it a board, and it's supposed to be a map, which is on our website. And you can go out and look at it. And it gives the history of what we've done. And thank you for listening. It's been a privilege to be here, and Scott and I truly enjoy serving on FDEDC. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hillenberg.
Thank you.
So it's good to see everybody today. Thank you all for coming. We've had some great presentations, and I've had the privilege of working here at Friendswood for June will be 19 years. So seeing the progression of downtown and all the new development has been exciting. And finally seeing the sales tax come to fruition, it's been in the plan for 20 years and we're starting to see it. So we did put together a story map. It's just a tool that Esri has for cities and other organizations to basically, it's just like a timeline. And we wanted, the FDEDC's accomplished a lot in their short time, and so we just wanted to put those projects together. So I'm just gonna go through those. Unfortunately, it's a scrolling thing, so Stephen's gonna drive for me in the back. So FDEDC was formed in 2016. Their purpose is for improving the downtown and funding downtown district projects, including maintenance and operations expenses of such projects, paved sidewalks, pedestrian amenities, including lighting, benches, signage, and other related public improvements, streets, and targeted infrastructure. The 1/8 cents is collected from the citywide, so it's not just collected in downtown, but it can only be spent in the downtown. Many projects have been accomplished by partnering with other agencies, city departments, and groups within the city and outside the city. Their very first project, they wanted to have a visual impact. So the poles and wires reduction, phase 1, was on, Friendswood Drive's like not really north and south or east and west, but on the left side, if you're going towards 2351, was their first project. And like Rebecca said, they didn't have any money, so this was a partnership, and AT&T actually did a credit on the city's account for this project for $71,270. That removed approximately 1,252 feet of overhead cables and 4 poles along the one side of Friendswood Drive. So the story map, the blue area shows the downtown district boundary, so that's where we can spend our dollars. The FDDC members wanted to have a plan in place for clear guidance for future projects, so they hired Lauren Griffith and Associates to formulate a plan. The Downtown Improvement Plan from 2017 identifies future projects with associated cost. It includes capital projects such as sidewalks, street signs, and traffic signals, and also includes a branding package for color schemes for the district. This was $143,220. We did add a lighting plan during that process. I will say the FDEDC has done a tremendous job of sticking to the plan. Our previous Dr. Pat McGinnis, he instilled that in the board, and they still kind of go back to that today, like, is that in the plan? So the next project was removing additional visual clutter along South Friendswood Drive. So this was a second poles and wires reduction on the same side of Friendswood Drive. This removed approximately 4,172 feet of overhead fiber, 313 feet of overhead cable, 4 anchors, and 3 poles along South Friendswood Drive. And if you go to the website, you can grab that little thing in the middle and move it and see the before and after. So, the next project is some decorative street signs. These were included in the plan. So carrying out the branding throughout the district by including the logo, fonts, and colors on street signs, and upgrading the stop signs to include the black poles, reinforce the downtown district identity. This was a pretty low-cost project at like $5,725. Our partner on this, our Public Works Department, did install all the signs for us. Downtown lighting plans. The plans for our downtown lighting kind of happened in 2 phases. Gandy did part of a plan, and then we later had to have HDR kind of enhance that plan, so it was about $45,000 in plans for our downtown lighting. And then another partnership, the Friendswood Historical Society approached the board about a contribution to a mural in downtown. So they did contribute about $1,000 towards this project. That was not the whole project cost, but it was a contribution. The next one is that we relocated some water and sewer line facilities to allow for the conduit for electrical services to be installed for the downtown illumination project. I'll touch back on that here in just a second. And then for this next project, the city actually applied for a grant from TxDOT, which we didn't get. We didn't qualify for it. But TxDOT saw our plan and came back to us with another opportunity and said, we have this program that we could do for Friendswood. So that resulted in a $2,822,060 grant from TxDOT. So we were able to fill in missing sidewalk sections, add sidewalks to properties that did not have them, which resulted in complete sidewalks along the entire length of our downtown district. The installation of the electrical conduit was funded by FDEDC during that project. Since it was already taking place, it was prudent to go ahead and put that in at that time.
Can I just add one thing?
Yes?
10 years ago, we had a dream of sidewalks going from Stevenson Park right next to us all the way down to 2051 on both sides of the road. And here we are 10 years later. It's a reality, and it was a grant for just under $3 billion. And it's because we had a plan. So, thank you. We're excited.
Yes. The downtown illumination plan, Pfeiffer and Sons actually installed 123 foundations and light fixtures. These poles have banner arms on them so that we can do banners for different seasons. The Hometown Heroes banners are also put on these poles as well. So this was another one of those projects. They let the money save up and accumulate, and that was a $2,350,000, $747 project. And it just wrapped up a few months back. The next partnership was from Keep Friendswood Beautiful. I say we, like y'all.
It's everybody.
Yeah.
You're right.
So FDEDC funded a conceptual plan for Stevenson Park, which is adjacent to City Hall over here. There was an old fire station number 1 was there for years. I believe that was a building built by volunteers back in the day. So it's a valuable piece of property at this time. Again, we've learned our lesson on having a plan that allows for funding opportunities. So FDEDC funded the plan for this project, which was $13,500. So our Parks and Rec Department manages that property and is constantly seeking out opportunities to actually carry this plan out. The Hometown Heroes Banner Program, fostering a partnership with FDFA, granted permission for the banners to be placed on the poles in the downtown district. This is a zero-cost project for FDEDC, but it's a great benefit to the community. Our Parks and Recreation staff actually is the ones that put up all the banners and take them down, so kudos to them. The utility box artwork, this was another partnership with Keep Friendswood Beautiful. They approached the corporation with this funding request, which included commissioning paintings on 6 utility boxes located in the downtown district. KFB selected the themes for each box, which all portray characteristics and values of Friendswood. Different artists painted each box and really brought KFB's vision to reality. And this project cost was $36,000. And on this story, if you click the circles, it'll show you photos of each of the boxes. They're really fun. This past year, we added Christmas decorations. This was a huge hit with the community this year. I think there was an engagement proposal, lots of photos.
That's right.
FDEDC has already approved the purchase of additional garland, bows, and lights for the remainder of the poles downtown. There was maybe half of them, maybe a little over half, had the decorations all down Friendswood Drive. And like I said, it was such a huge hit, everybody loved it. So we're expanding that program. Street signs and wayfinding signs, these are new, just installed here in the last couple of months. So there's 6 double-sided signs that have been installed in the medians on South Friendswood Drive. The 2 on the ends just are our downtown logo, and the ones in the middle are wayfinding signs to direct you to different locations.
Who did that project? Who is your designer?
Stephen, do you know the sign company for that?
The sign company, or who did the logo?
Did y'all do a plan? Did y'all do
So
a
this
plan?
was part of the original downtown.
Yeah, it's included in the downtown improvement plan.
Okay.
Yep.
Each point we went back to, is it on the plan?
The plan was very detailed. Street banner, like banners for our poles, the wood grain poles that our decorative lights have. It was a very detailed plan, so yeah, it was very good. So future projects under consideration, so the removal of additional overhead communication lines, so this is on the other side of Friendswood Drive. Some of our new decorative lights, unfortunately, like poke through some of the lower hanging wires. I think we've kind of realized we're probably never going to get rid of the electrical poles as a whole, but we can at least remove some of the visual clutter on the lower parts of the lines. So that is in process. Flock cameras for security, additional downtown decorations for Christmas, 4th of July, and seasonal banners, installing additional light poles in sections of downtown, removal of antiquated decorative light poles. Before we did the lighting project, we required property owners to install downtown amenities. So it was decorative lights, benches, and
Some sidewalks.
the sidewalks, yes. I'm like, there was 3 things. And in lieu of them having to install those things, we waived permit fees to help offset the cost. But it was kind of a hodgepodge because, I mean, we had a standard, but, everybody's, actually, somebody would buy one and 2 years ago, they're like, well, that one's not available anymore. So having the consistent lights all down Friendswood Drive, it's really pretty at night. So we are, if you see the stragglers, we are still trying to get some of the old ones removed. So the next one, project cost. So the chart on the right shows the dollar value of projects sponsored by FDEDC. The amounts are broken down into grants, credits, and FDEDC funds. So total project cost $6 million. So leveraging the partnerships and the opportunities, basically, we've doubled our money in the past several years. And then our last slide is the tax revenues for FDEDC have steadily increased over the years. FY25 was obviously our biggest year yet, bringing in $918,856. These increases are indicative of a growing retail and sales tax environment in Friendswood, which has been an ongoing goal for Friendswood for many years, and it's exciting to see it happening finally. That's the end of this story map. If anybody has any questions, I'll be available after, and I'm going to turn this back over to Mayor Foreman just for a few minutes before our break.
One thing.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Aubrey did that story map. She did all the work. She's been working on it for a long time, and we greatly appreciate her taking her time and energy.
Great job, Aubrey.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break, but before we do that, I have a special recognition. Where are my HGAC people? Houston-Galveston Area Council, thank you all for being here. If you don't know, Houston-Galveston Area Council is a council of governments. We are a member. All cities in this region is a 13-county region, 130 cities, something, towns, villages, or
151, I read it. Thank you.
151, okay. So we, as being a city over 25,000, we have a seat on their board of directors. So one of our council members always fills that role. For the last 9 years, it's been Sally Branson. And, since we got involved with having someone dedicated their time to representing us at HGAC, and Sally does this, she is very involved. She's been the chairman of the board at HGAC for a year along the way. Friendswood we have blossomed. We have become a place that other regional partners recognize. Oh, Friendswood. And so much goes on because Sally represents us at HGAC. We get calls, city manager gets calls, deputy city manager gets calls from other cities saying, hey, we heard that you guys are involved in this. Could we talk about that? And networking happens and good things result. So just a little aside, I am the alternate representative from the city of Friendswood to HGAC. Thankfully, Sally represents us 11 meetings out of 12 in a year, and I only have to go maybe one time when she can't go, and when I go, it's terrible for me because everybody sees me and they say, "Where's Sally? Where's Sally?" I was like, "Well, I'm here," but that doesn't do it. So anyway, I'm saying this all because this Bringing Back Mainstreet is an HGAC program that Sally brought down here for us, and so I have a little award for Sally. Saying I have an award is, I didn't know where it was. Thank you, Aubrey.
It just got there.
I have a little gift for you for all the work that you've done, HGAC. It's a lot of effort she spends up there. She's on all these committees. She's not only a member of the board, she goes to committee meetings, but all that you've done through HGAC has really benefited Friendswood immensely. We can't even imagine how much things that wouldn't be going on here if it weren't for Sally being involved with HGAC and HGAC coming down here. So, and I didn't do a very good job earlier. I did point out that Sally Branson's a council member. I mentioned John Ellisor, our mayor pro tem, is in the back. Trish Hanks, another council member, is in the back. Joe Matranga is here, another council member is here. So, we have immense support from our city council for all these kinds of things, and I'm so thankful to get to work with all these great people. Congratulations.
Well, I asked for this job when I first got on council because we weren't really attending. And I got to tell you, thank you. I'm overwhelmed. But the very first thing I attended was because of our downtown effort. We went to Tom Ball. I was telling, where's the rep from Tom Ball? There y'all are. We were all so excited about bringing back Mainstreet after attending the session you had in Tom Ball, and that was back in 2015, I think. So this is where HGAC started for me. So this is my passion. So thank y'all very much. He's given me way too much credit. This is a total team effort. Murad is chair of the TAC. Nancy Arnold took me under her wing when I first got on HGAC, because I can promise y'all, when you walk into that room and there's like 60 people in there and you got mayors and judges and commissioners, it's daunting. And sweet Nancy took me under her arm when I first got there, and we've been working together ever since. But thank y'all for being here. This means a lot to me. I'm really proud of Friendswood, but I'm really proud of our region. So thank y'all for being here and caring enough to be here. Thank you.
And we are going to take a break. There are more items on the agenda. I'm just jumping up here. I don't know if you're supposed to. What I'm here to say is go out, take a break, ask questions, but come back into the room because we got a couple of more topics that we're going to cover that are very interesting. Thanks.
Thank you. I didn't know what we're going to do.
All right, hello, everyone. Hello. Everyone? Hello? I can't whistle. Can I whistle? All right, so the very last thing we want to do in a networking event is stop the networking, but yeah, here we are. So we are back, and it is now time to hear from the Friendswood Community and Economic Development Committee Chair, Susan Azambakis.
Thank you very much. I love it when people get the name right. That's not a name that is often pronounced well. But, I told this woman that I did it voluntarily, right? And I'm almost as on the same track as Mike and Lori. My husband and I are heading towards 46 years this year. So there we go. There we go. Good morning, everyone. I'm Susan Azambakis. It is my pleasure to serve as the City of Friendswood's chair for their Economic Development Committee. I'll tell a little backstory, too, on myself, just to kind of paint the picture of how I got here, right, and why I'm so passionate about what I'm doing for this organization. I can take you back to 1984. So I'm close. 1984 is when my family moved here to Friendswood. And our goal, frankly, to come here, I can't say we found Friendswood or Friendswood found us, but the objective was we needed a place to live that was halfway between Houston and Galveston. That was the main mission for finding Friendswood, frankly. And then we discovered a lot of the other gems that came along with it. But at the time, I had taken a new role with the American Cancer Society that I was working for, and I had to be in Houston. My husband was a professor at assistant dean at the medical school in Galveston at the time, and so obviously he was stationed down in Galveston. But when we were discovering Friendswood or where to move our family, we were clearly looking for a few things. One, a safe community, because again, we had one child at the time, we had one dog at the time, but we were planning on populating more. We wanted another child, we wanted another dog. And so we knew Friendswood was a place where we could not only live, but thrive. And live and thrive for a long period of time. We wanted to call it home and not have to be transient. The other reason was I needed an airport. I needed access to Hobby Airport because about 3 to 4 days a week, I was on Southwest Airlines traveling somewhere in the state of Texas or in the country. So I needed access. This was obviously pre-TSA. I could leave Friendswood, and within an hour, I was in the air. So it was really nice to be able to have that convenience. And I say all that because one of the things that I've learned in my career is access, safety, convenience, the ability to thrive, really are essential ingredients to having success, whether you're going to have success in your career or success in your family life, or if you're lucky enough to have them both ways. We were lucky finding Friendswood. Back in 1984, there was a McDonald's, there was one restaurant, and it was so exciting when the second McDonald's came. I can't tell you. I mean, the community went crazy when there were now 2 McDonald's in addition to Dairy Queen. But you can tell that Friendswood was going to be on the road to a more vibrancy, a more economic development, prosperity trail. And that was exciting to me because when I finished my career at the American Cancer Society, I then transitioned to working for the Greater Houston Partnership. And there I served, in both organizations, I served as their Chief Development Officer. So my background is in fundraising. But frankly, my background is in people. And when you're doing economic development work, you are working with people. No matter how much technology you have, I still want to shake your hand. I want to look you in the eye because I'm going to ask you for $1 million. Guess what? It's better to do that in person. It's better to have built a relationship over time. In my role at the Greater Houston Partnership, I was exposed to a world of information. But it was my job to take that information and break it down into bite-sized pieces so that people could understand it, that people could be involved in the organization. And so I had to take the work that was being done in policy, the work that was being done in economic development, in international trade and investment, and help corporations, help people in the workforce understand how they can engage in the organization as well as obtain the information to be able to help them in their own lives. And it was thrilling, very exciting. Then I moved to transition to Life 2.0. Okay, I left my career in 2020, and I began realizing 2 years prior to that it was time to do something back in my community. When our children were young, you're involved in everything, right? School, sports, culture, entertainment, anything that the community would offer. And then I had worked with volunteers my whole life, but I really wasn't a volunteer. So I had to learn how to take what I did in managing volunteers and actually apply it to myself. So that's when we met Brett and Suzanne, and my husband and I introduced the idea of doing Farm and Vine to the community. And we were so thrilled that people embraced it. It didn't start out with a wild embrace. You know, we asked, we talked, we kind of went into my zone of fundraising and said, you know, Brett said, well, don't worry. It's okay if we don't raise money this year. So, wait a minute. Whoa, that is countercultural to what I do, right? But we raised enough money to be able to do a mural. And then in subsequent years, we raised enough money to again bring art. But all of this adds up to what nurtures economic development. So in 2021, I was asked to be a part of the City of Friendswood's Economic Development Committee. You'll soon learn, and I guess I should have known this from my days in managing volunteers, that when you volunteer, eventually you become a leader. So then I became the chair, like months later. And it was something I really felt connected to because I feel very connected to this community. And it was time to give back, okay? So that's my backstory as I lead into telling you a little bit about what this organization that I'm proud to serve as the chair of. So my whole presentation is about strength and building that foundation because frankly, economic development work is a contact sport, right? You have to build that muscle, you have to sharpen your skill, you have to practice, practice, practice. It's competitive, but yet what we're excited about in Friendswood and frankly in the state of Texas, there is that rough competition. Where's the next company going? Where's the next expansion? We battle it out. But frankly, if it stays in this market, we're all happy, right? There might be a company moving that is in Galveston or in Baytown, and yet what happens is people who are working in that company, they visit, they buy, they live in the surrounding area. So we all benefit from that. So it is a contact sport, but we're all a part of it. Here's what the way I've fashioned my remarks, though, is I want to tell you the why. Why do we do this? Friendswood, as you've heard, is a community approaching the 45,000 people mark. We're a subset of a huge region that has a lot of great industries in it. We have a workforce here that is stellar, right? Highly professional, highly valued in terms of education. So it's important that I tell you the why. And as we get into the why, I'll give you some examples of what we've done to help this community prosper, okay? And I want to kind of walk you through this. So the big why. And this applies to all of us, the big why. When you're revitalizing anything in the Texas downtown space, you really have to think about these three things. It brings communities together. This is why you do it. Brings them together. It strengthens your local economy. You've heard a lot about the tax base here now and how it's now being reapplied to make the community stronger and better. And it does preserve the history, that it makes you in a unique town. We're all different. We can't be Clear Lake. Friendswood can't be Friendswood. We can only be Friendswood. But there's strength in that. And so discovering the uniqueness is really important. So how are we structured? As a committee, I'm a volunteer. I think pretty much everybody around here is a volunteer, okay? But the Community Economic Development Committee is made up of a 9-person volunteer. We are serving as advisors, right? We give our input because we come from different walks of life. And as a result of that, our experience is valued by the city staff, by city council. So I take a lot of pride in that because they have to make the final decision. We don't have decision-making power. But there is a great deal of debate in our meetings. There's a lot of input in the meeting, sometimes over the smallest things. Sally serves as our city council liaison, and sometimes we walk out of there and she goes, "Why did that take so long?" I said, "Well, it's because the value of input is really important in making the right decision or making the right advice, providing the right advice." I'm here with another committee member. Judy Wiggins is a member of the 9-person committee, and someone I lean on a lot. We do serve 2-year terms. Those are renewable. I don't know how you get off, you know? You can't get off. Still looking for that secret sauce. Okay. I am a child of the 70s, you know. Okay, but then our real purpose, frankly, is to support and champion initiatives that promote a healthy business environment and, frankly, a quality of life that is aimed at the ability to be able to retain the businesses that are here, help those that are here expand if that's their choice, and frankly, you're always on the hunt. You want to attract companies to Friendswood, no matter the size, no matter the scope. There are certain characteristics that a company is going to look for in our community, so I think you're going to tend to see a lot more in the space of professional services, business services, but even there, you've got a huge entrepreneurial spirit here in Friendswood. There's high value for education. So as a result of that, you have companies that, again, are taking and leveraging that advantage. Here's our timeline. So I'll tell you, in 2021, what we did is we developed a new strategic plan. The last one that was on the shelf was built in the 1990s. You've heard the story recently in the last few presenters about the change that took place from the 80s, 90s into the 2000s and to the present day. So we too worked with Ron Cox. You've heard the name Ron Cox pop up. He was a volunteer consultant, another volunteer, who sat with us because at the time the committee was also new. I was new in my role as chair. There were a few new members of the committee that had not worked together. So we went through that bonding, but we also then began to lay out a plan. What does Friendswood look like today, and what do we want it to look like? Because any good strategic plan these days does not last more than 3 to 5 years. We've hit that mark, which you'll see as I talk about it. So we began putting the mission elements together. I'm going to spend a little time telling you what those are in a few seconds. We established out of those mission elements, one of our first goals was marketing and creating a new contemporary message for Friendswood. We rolled out the marketing plan, presented it to City Council, they adopted it. It's used gradually. So it's put into presentations, it's put into the mayor's State of the City address, it's used on the website. It's not in your face. This is not a billboard moment. If you're involved in marketing at all, that's not what this is, okay? We have tools to communicate thanks to the city staff here, but we also know you have to have an overarching market message, and that's what we did. What we've been doing since 2024, though, is capitalizing on the fact that we're a community of small businesses, right? By federal government standards, we're definitely there. We definitely have companies that employ under 500 people. And as a result, we latched onto the idea of why not celebrate National Small Business Week. It was established in 1963 by then President Kennedy. We picked up on that idea to put our own stamp on it, and frankly, 2 days ago, on Monday, we did a full program day to recognize the small businesses here in Friendswood with keynote speakers, with workshops, with panel presentations, and again, it works for us to be able to do that. We're on year 3. We have a lot more to learn. We have a lot more ways that we need to know to engage our community. But we feel good about the fact that we're offering this as a committee to our small businesses that we're targeting. We've also then completed all the mission elements. So again, started with the launch in '22, finished. So we did that 3 to 4 year window, which now would mean we have to go through a new strategic planning process. All right, here are the mission elements though. And I think you'll see these are not new. I mean, these are going to be probably things that are in your communities also. But what we did, which I'll show you in a second, is we took these and we did subsets of everything to make it, again, special and unique to Friendswood. So these, again, are universal, but they had meaning to us. We wanted to make sure that we were bringing relevant and diverse businesses to Friendswood. Relevant was the key word. We started there because, again, of what would be the characteristics that would draw a company to Friendswood or help them retain their presence here. Big thing, in the rules of economic development, you want to keep more than you get, right? You want to keep more businesses because it's hard to attract companies into a market because, again, it's a very competitive environment. We market our cities and its businesses to prospects and to influencers. We also identify and build the talent that's going to be capable of expanding and sustaining the business community here. Again, we're very fortunate because the school districts, the community colleges, the universities all look at having great students come out of Friendswood to be able to then be educated, skilled, whether it's in trade or in professions, and move out. The nice thing, too, that we've learned about Friendswood, it becomes like a 360. They get educated here, they grow up here, many of them leave to go to trade or education, higher education, and surprisingly enough, that circle gets completed where they like to come back here to, again, grow their families and live, and maybe start a business. We want to make sure in our elements that we were being ensured that this was a business-friendly city. That, frankly, starts with the government. The government, the way that policies are created, permits are issued, access to people. And we hear this consistently that from the business owners that we do have a strong communication between people who are trying to expand or move here and the city staff. That's, I think, a great credit to people like Aubrey. We promote entrepreneurship, okay? We know that that's the spirit these days. Post-COVID, a lot of people got into the space of what do I want to really do? What am I capable of doing? And again, our independent school districts, and I'm not sure if this was said, but Friendswood actually sits in 2 counties. So our independent school districts are Friendswood ISD and Clear Creek ISD. So we've got Harris County, Galveston County in both of those spaces. And as a result, you've got now great strength in those independent school districts and what they're doing to ignite the spirit of being a strong entrepreneur. We like to collaborate. Again, even though this is a contact sport, the contact means you got to collaborate with the entities that are here in Friendswood, but also with the state government, with county governments, because again, they sometimes are the feeder to helping companies move here. So you've got to get to know your elected officials. So how do you build a believable Main Street message? This is where we started. When we looked at those mission elements, we began to realize that in order to do any of them, we had to sharpen our message and make it contemporary. Here's what people said about Friendswood when I was talking with them about this. We're a great bedroom community. That doesn't sound attractive to businesses, does it? But we are. People like to live here. You can associate that with bedroom, but we're more than that. So what we did in order to build that message, we looked at our credibility. We looked at creating a clear message. We had to have confident leadership. We had to have consistently show up with a purpose that was going to be our goal. Okay? How did we make people in the business market understand that there was really a platform to grow your company here in Friendswood? You can't do it alone. We collaborated wildly. When we got on this track of being able to say, we got to get up and figure out how do we talk about Friendswood in a more modern way, we spent time with our friends, the Chamber, the Economic Development Corporation.
She's in the back now.
The back row lady now, Rebecca's team, Brett and FDFA. We all spent time talking with them and getting from them, what are they doing? Where are the overlaps? Because what are they saying about Friendswood that maybe we should all be saying? singing off the same songbook, as they say. We also had to talk to the community, right? We would be ignorant if we didn't reach out to the businesses and say, what do you say about Friendswood? What's the message when you're sitting on the airplane next to somebody and says, where are you from? What comes out of your mouth when you talk about where you're from? So we spent time with 25 people, and we individually interviewed them with the same questions to come back with some results. We then analyzed all that data and looked for common words. We did the word mapping and figured out what people were saying, and are they saying it in a way that had that sing to it, that everybody would want to say. Here's the other thing we did. We went shopping. We took discovery trips. We did 4 of them across the state of Texas. We got people in buses and vans and cars, and no pride here. We met with their economic development teams, we met with their governments, we met with their chambers, we met with their local businesses, and we did tours. We talked to them at great length to listen, to figure out what are they doing, what's their secret sauce that maybe could come and be implanted into Friendswood. Those were eye-opening to us. We loved being able to do that. Plus, it was fun to bond with each other. So not only were we on a learning journey, but we were also had a chance to get to know each other better. Because, again, we're all in the same boat. We want to do this together. So here's the result. Our core message was Friendswood is a forward-looking community with a proud past, strong traditions, and a space to grow dreams. That's packed full of a lot of history and background of how we got here, and every word was debated, right, Judy? Every word, even the verbs. I think it's, again, where we took some pride, because we knew we had to say it in a way that could be repeatable. People have the tendency, they're going to say things, they're going to remember things in odd numbers. So I can say, forward-looking community, proud past, strong traditions, boom. I could then take that and put it in my own personal message. So I can say these things. It doesn't have to be written down. I don't have to repeat it like I was a Stepford wife, okay? But I could put my own personal touch to it. But this is then where we jumped off the pad, because behind each one of these, behind this main message, this universal message, were expanded messages, 3 of them. So we broke them down, and we helped, again, the city realize that there was more weight behind that core message. Here's the first one. Friendswood is a proud city, keyword on proud, that values family ties, educational excellence, a sense of belonging, safe neighborhoods, and an environment where residents support and care for each other. Again, every word equally weighed and measured. But you could then pluck excellence of education out of that, because when we interviewed those 25 business owners, one of the first words they tell you when they say, what do you think of when we say the word Friendswood, they immediately default to education and its strong system of education and the value that the citizens place on education. So you knew you had to put that in there, right? And this is something, again, that we use all the time when we're building remarks for Murad, our city manager, or our mayor, or city council. They can use these messages in their way, but they can use the words, which again are repeatable. Second message that we expanded. Friendswood is a welcoming city. Again, if I'm going to remember, I'm proud and now I'm welcoming. We collaborate with business community. We know loyal customers, which contribute to the prosperous economy, a talented and capable workforce, an encouraging entrepreneurial spirit, and is touted as a city on the move. Okay? Actionable words, more contemporary. There's a chance in a few years when we go through another strategic planning process, we'll have to sharpen this because things evolve. The days of having a 10-year strategic plan are gone. Technology has caused us to move a lot faster, so being welcoming, though, is never going to go away. No matter whether you are someone moving here from across town, I literally moved a half a mile once, and you got the same reaction when people wanted to help you in Friendswood. How can I help you move? Or if I'm in Friendswood but I'm moving somewhere else in the market, I'm moving to Houston or Baytown or Pasadena, what you're going to find is Friendswood is still a very welcoming, we're here to help you. It's a staple, I think it's very Texas, but it's also, again, something we feel passionate about, that we're a welcoming city. And you find that because the companies here, the businesses here, and the people here like to collaborate, okay? We don't always agree, but that makes us stronger, okay? That's not something you should resist, it's something we should embrace. Diversity helps us feel stronger. Third message, Friendswood is a community. We've gone from proud, welcoming, we're a real community with a big heart and a strong backbone. Long-lasting traditions, active charitable and civic organizations, and an exceptional quality of place to live, work, and play. You hear that a lot in communities, live, work, and play. Some people add in live, work, play, worship. Some people, you can use whatever. I like the acronyms of three, putting things in threes. But Friendswood, again, the heart is really so important to this community. Even the Friends of Downtown Friendswood Association uses it, where we love Friendswood, okay? You saw the art piece, it's a love Friendswood. We like the idea that people enjoy the fact that this is their home, this is the heart, this is where they stay, where they want to thrive. And again, we try to capitalize on that through these messages. So that's what the economic development team did, with certainly the major help from the professional staff, because they have to carry it through. Again, we're the advisors, we're the helpers, we're the champions. We like to talk with people. We like to get the pulse of what's going on in the market. And again, that's not an unusual exercise for anybody that's doing economic development work, right? You want people that have those characteristics because they're a nice face for your community. But here's the final story. Friendswood is a story worth telling. Okay? And I think for a while there, we were so humble, but now more people are identifying with us. There's more activities here. There's more economic prosperity here. We have a lot more visitors that come, and why not? You know, it helps us, again, continue to grow, and that's what economic development work is all about, is, again, strengthening that backbone, creating a foundation that, again, allows us. So all these things went into that basic, where I started. Our foundation is built on messaging, being welcoming, being able to have a good face, and being competitive, so that, again, people will see us as a place not only to live, but to continue to build their businesses here. So that's what our team does and why we do it as volunteers. Okay. All right. So now I get the pleasure of introducing two gentlemen, one a very strong business owner in our community, one we've actually interviewed, Luis Bernice, and Stephen Ray, who's the Deputy City Manager for the City of Friendswood.
It's the next slide over.
Okay. Can we do that? There we go.
Hi, my name's Luis Briones, and I own Friendswood Frame and Gallery. This month marks our 53rd year in business. I've owned it for the last 18. I was really honored that they asked me to just give a couple of perspectives of how all the work that they've done has impacted us as a business, and I kind of wanted to do that quickly through two short stories. Just to give you a little bit of feedback or background on me, our family got here in 1974. But we got here and grew up in Wedgwood, which is actually a subdivision on the other side of the creek that at the time was completely unincorporated, part of Harris County. Joe and Mary opened up the shop in 1973, and I started working for them in high school in about 1983 or so. So even though I lived in Wedgwood and went through the Clear Creek School District system, I was working here. This was our hometown. And I got to see firsthand, working for a small business, what that means, all the struggles. I saw them dealing with the very same things that we were talking about in the early days. Joe Prahota served on council for a couple of years. Mary volunteered in all the same things around the city that I try and volunteer for as well. And it was a really eye-opening experience. You got to see the struggles of a small business, but you also got to see how much small businesses are hubs for the community. It's where people go and do their shopping, but they're also meeting their neighbors, talking to one another, and experiencing life, and you get to see that firsthand. I worked for them through high school and part of college, then I transferred over to UT, went to Austin. I fell into another career for a while, and it was a wonderful career. It took me all around the country, and I lived in upstate New York, a little bit in Wisconsin, Northern California, before coming back, and traveled around a lot and subconsciously saw a lot of the progressions of little small towns all over the place. So the first of my stories is when I came back here. I was gone about 18 years, and Joe and I had always talked about taking over the business one day, and I came back for that purpose to manage it before buying it. And I remember driving through downtown and thinking how cool this place after 18 years looks exactly the same as when I left it. And immediately I thought, why in the world does this place still look exactly the same after 18 years? And you know, from a practical standpoint of getting the benefits of all this work that's been done around here, it really shows. It shows in our business. It elevates the whole town. It elevates the businesses that are into town, and it attracts new businesses, I think, into the town as well. And I think that's the second story I've got to tell. When I met my wife, we got married in 2011. She was living inside the loop. She was living in the Heights, and if I wanted to live with her, I needed to move. She wasn't coming out of the loop. So we live up there, but the business is here. And back in September, if you're familiar with the Heights, great bars, great restaurants. It's been there for 100 years. It's got great architecture, great culture. It's a wonderful place. And I remembered in September on her birthday, I was going to go shopping for her to find her something, and I realized there is no shopping in the Heights. There's bars, there's restaurants galore, but there's like one really cool men's shop, one really cool women's shop, and that's about it. And I was really shocked because we do something here. We just did it, I think our last 7 years, we've been doing something called the Shop Hop. And just around COVID time, when it was tough for everybody, all the shops started talking and trying to figure out ways that we could cross-promote and work with each other, because my customers are their customers are mine. Sally, Rebecca, they shop at my store, but they also shop at all the other stores as well. And so we did something called the Shop Hop, where instead of competing with one another, we collaborated, and we gave people a passport, and they had to go around to 15 stores this last year, and they had to mark a card, and you get to turn that card in, and you get to win a raffle of some gift bags that all the shops put in together to create. But there were 30 shops on that list. I mean, there is amazing shopping around here. And that is something that I was really kind of blown away by. You just start to see how much this place has grown and prospered even in these last 20 years. So I have that sort of unique outsider-insider view of this place, having grown up in Wedgewood, living in the Heights, but working here, volunteering, putting my time in here. Friendswood's an amazing place. It's such a unique place. It's got this small town feel that we've been able to keep the whole time, but we're next to the fourth largest city and all the great things that come with that. So we're excited that you asked us to be here, part of this, and thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. I know we're pushing the time, so I will be quick, but for those that were potentially in Richmond, when I got to talk about sidewalks for 20 or 30 minutes, we're not going to go that far today, so don't worry, we'll get you out of here pretty quick. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, HJC. Andrea, I think you're hiding back there somewhere. There you are. Thank you very much for choosing Friendswood and for asking us to host. We appreciate it. One thing I think we've all heard many, many times today is the collaboration, and whether it's a nonprofit, if it's a business, if it's a city department, whatever it may be, the volunteers being the backbone, you have the chamber, and one thing I've always wanted to do is run through the acronyms in front of an audience. So the CEDC, the FDEDC, the KFB, I'm going to be missing FDFA. So there's acronyms, the city loves them, it's great. But I think the true story here really is all the acronyms that you might have that participate along your Main Street, pull them all together, visit with them all, see how you can help. You help one, you help them all. And if you help them all, you help the community. Here, we've, again, super collaborative. And I would like to thank the communications team for the city of Friendswood. They have put together a quick little map for us, an idea stolen from Richmond, so thank you. We did not really, I think, realize just how many items downtown that you can fit on a map that might be of interest. So we first thought, hey, we're just gonna put some restaurants. We'd like you to visit any one of the restaurants in the city of Friendswood. But if you're here for bringing back Main Street, if you're walking around downtown, we'd like you to stop in. So I thought, if you can eat downtown, maybe you want to see one of the murals that was mentioned, some of the art that was mentioned. So let's go ahead and put that on the map as well. It turned into one giant dot. So what we did was we have two-sided now. So you have all the restaurants and you have the art, you have the municipal buildings and other things that are on there if you'd like to drive around and take a look on your way out of town today. These are available up front at the check-in desk. So with that, Andrea, your closing remarks, if you'd like to come up and get us out of here, that would be great.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'll be brief too. We have some events coming up. If you registered, if I have your email address, I'll just send you this and you can look at it while I'm talking. Most importantly, I want to thank the city of Friendswood and all of the Alphabet Soup. And I want to thank every one of you for coming, because we don't do this without people like Friendswood and without people like you, because if you didn't come, we'd just be talking. So thank you, everyone. Let's get a round of applause for Friendswood and everybody here. This is my contact information if you want to reach me. This is also a QR code for the survey that we passed out when you came in, and we'd appreciate it if you could give us some feedback. It helps us make the next ones better. I also want to telegraph that our next event is going to be a webinar, because in July, I'm not going to put any more cars on the road during the World Cup. So we're going to do that online. And then our October event, it's going to be, but I won't make any promises until I talk to him again. So with that, I guess we are free to go and check out the map and go have lunch in Friendswood. So thank you, everyone.